Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to wherever everyone may be watching this either live or in the replay. You are watching, if I can get my little intro graphic up here, well, we'll see. You're watching Sketching Past Midnight live, and let's see here. I am CB Smallwood, the greatest of all time, the undisputed, the unchallenged. So it must be true. Okay, despite the fact that I was challenged maybe like a couple of days ago. We're going to forget that ever happened, though. Okay. Anyway, it's like I have all kinds of various topics in mind that I want to talk about, but I can't. It's I just my mind's just kind of all over the place. Don't really have a great plan for what I'm going to do right now. It is what it is. Let me zoom in a little bit here. So, still working on these Buscema heads. Let me kind of do this. Anyway, yeah. Well, welcome to the show. What do I got to report here lately? Well, okay. Before I get into all the interesting topics that I got to cover, some of it is about making comics. Talking about making comics. I'm not necessarily my comics, which I'll talk about those too, but about the difficulties of YouTube in making comics. Talking about work. I'll talk about work, and then I was thinking about talking about dinosaurs, and then well, I don't want to talk about the wrestling thing. I feel like I need to actually make a video to itself about the wrestling thing. I don't know. And then from there, I'll just let my mind go wherever it goes. Not incredibly super interesting topics. It's not the best way to sell a show, but it is what it is. So, okay. I think I was going to start off talking about work. So here's this situation with work. I started back to work this week. Been off work for forever. Was looking forward to it, and then once I got there, I remembered something that I had forgotten. Oh, work sucks. That is right. Well, my job wasn't terrible or anything like that. I should probably rephrase that, but just everything's hectic right now. Everything is different. Everything kind of has to be different. And oh, by the way, Dave Hingley writes, "Hi CB, hello good sir, hello good sir." And by the way, just want to remind everybody, Dave had a new video up that maybe like a day or two ago that he put up. It was an update video of where he's been and stuff. So check that out. It's pretty cool, short and sweet, but lots of cool stuff in there. I'll talk about that too. Yeah, I'll talk about that too. I don't want to get too off track here. Talking about myself, because I am the center of the universe. So anyway, what the heck was it? Oh yeah. Work. So, my job's not that bad or anything like that. It's just, the problem is, other than lack of pay, and that's a different issue altogether. The whole thing that the whole world's going through right now, and that I can't mention, or, well, COVID. I can say it. I don't really put tags in a lot of these live streams, so because of that, everything's changed, different policies, and the bosses keep changing what how things are supposed to be working, daily, and every week it's some big new massive change. And see, here's the thing, I need, in my opinion, a routine. Once you got a routine, you can suffer through almost anything, no matter how terrible the job or whatever. You can get used to it. You can get acclimated to it, and you can thrive. You'll find ways. In the words of, I guess, what is his name? Dr. Malcolm, I can't remember, from Jurassic Park, life will find a way. That's not quite what he meant by that expression, but that's how I'm going to use it. Anyway, so yeah, work's been a little hectic with that, getting used to the changes and well, trying to, because they keep changing things, as I said before. Um, and I know this is going to sound bad, but I started calculating the numbers, that was long overdue with what I get paid and everything like that, and it's not good. And so now I'm in a point in my life where I need to figure something out. I either need to find a second job, that's like part time, to get a little extra income coming in, or I need to change careers altogether. The job I have has a lot of benefits because it has like you're off if there's bad weather. You get summers off. You get sick days and all that good stuff. The insurance, I don't really use that, but it's there if you want it. But anyway, it's just like just not making money. I don't really have spending money. And so that really hurts. I need that spending money so I can build my comic book empire. I need that spending money so I can go to the movies, splurge a little, live a little, to make it worth it to go to work. I work so that I can live. I don't live so that I can work. Oh man, I don't like how this Buscema face is coming together. It's maybe I'll zoom it a little bit here. Yeah, phone. What kind of notification you got for me? Let's see here. Oh, okay. Apparently it was email making me aware that I'm live on YouTube, so that's good. It's good news. I'm glad they told me. I would have never known. Man, I'm being a brick right now. That's not nice. Okay, so interesting topics. Interesting topics. So I pretty much said all I had to say about the work thing. Who wants to hear about that? Talk about Dave's awesome video that he put up a couple of days ago. Since I happened to think about it, and I don't want you to go check it out and think it like it's mind-blowingly awesome. It's just it's interesting, because he's having a really good run right now. Like he's got like one anthology, two anthologies, three anthologies, maybe four or five. He's got a lot of work coming his way, but it's a blessing, and a curse, because it's a lot to do. And well, anyway, it's pretty cool, all the anthologies that he's going to be working on and all that stuff. And I don't know. And then I remember in the video he was talking about, if I can get my brain straight, because I'm thinking and drawing at the same time. Sometimes those don't go together. But I remember in the video he's talking about the difficulties. One of the reasons he ain't been uploading a lot is because there's a lot of difficulties in doing, filming yourself drawing, and then after the filming's over, editing the footage, putting that all together, and then uploading it to YouTube. And then there's things on the YouTube side that you have to do. For anyone that doesn't make YouTube videos, there's a lot to it, and then there's not. It just depends on how you do it. And it's one of the reasons that, I've been doing, these live streams because, well, other than the fact that all technology tears up on me, maybe I'm too rough with stuff, or maybe stuff just cannot meet the demands of what I actually need that stuff to do. Either way, either or, stuff just falls apart. And, just doing these YouTube live streams for me is therapeutic. It's simple. It's straightforward. No editing. It is what it is. If I make mistakes, I make mistakes. The only thing I can do is private the video or delete it. If it's a whopper. You know what I mean? Which could happen. I don't know. I hope not. That had to be a pretty bad whopper for me to delete or private the video. Which I've done like one or two that way because technical issues that were just like, it's stupid. It's dumb. Anyway, that's the thing, for those of you that watch these videos, for those of you that watch these videos, what was I going to say? That make comics that, if you're an artist, well, heck, I guess even if you're a writer, but I'll get into that later, but like if you make comics and you make YouTube videos, you run into this problem where you spend more time working on your videos as opposed to actually drawing or writing or whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing. And this was a problem that I ran into when I was doing the 100 Days to Making Comics Challenge. And I'll say up front, I love the 100 Days of Making Comics Challenge. It was something that I really, really needed. And maybe I'll do it again in the future. And I recommend that, for those of you that, make comics or whatever, and you're procrastinating or you're not having much progress or whatever, take the challenge and go do that, and I think you'd be grateful that you did. I think it'll work out in the end. But the problem is with doing all these YouTube videos, it gets in the way of drawing. And to me, as it is with the 100 Days of Making Comics Challenge, I think drawing is more important than making a video. I think writing comics, inking, coloring, lettering, whatever, just creating stuff is more important than making a YouTube video. And the reason is, you can get good at making YouTube videos, but if you want to make a career out of comics, then you have to question where is your time spent, And so that was, I'm not directing that at anybody, by the way. That's not directed at anybody. I'm just saying in general. When I say you, I mean the viewers, the audience. Now, myself, when I did the 100 Days of Making Comics, I broke all the rules of God and man when it came to that challenge. Because to me, the way I viewed that challenge was it was a personal one. And for those that don't know, the 100 Days of Making Comics Challenge is this. For 100 days, you make comics. You make them however you want to make them. All right. And for each and every single day, you upload a YouTube video of your progress of working on those comics. And you need to spend at least 30 minutes every day working on those comics. And that's like the minimum or whatever. And it was created by Kevin Cross, this former, or maybe, I guess it's never really former if you still, if it's still in your heart, he was a punk skater guy, who was drawing comics for other people, and he just got tired of investing all his time, working for other people and not really working on his own stuff, And so he just kind of decided that he needed to at least take 30 minutes out of his day every day to work on something that was his, that was for him, for his benefit personally, solely. Sorry, I'm just spreading the disease. I drink my nice, refreshing water. Well, let me leave that cap off. That way I just don't have to unscrew it and screw it back like 100 times. But anyway, so when I was doing the 100's challenge, the way I viewed it is it's me taking the challenge, nobody else. I mean, there were other people. There's like a lot of people that took the challenge. But ultimately, those other people are not helping me do the 100 days of making comics. And the challenge is supposed to be it's a personal thing. It's a, it's like, when you do a weight loss challenge, other people may cheer you on, other people may give you recommendations and all this other stuff, but ultimately you're the one that has to hit the treadmill. Ultimately, you're the one that has to run in the park. Ultimately, you're the one that has to sacrifice all those nice, tasty treats that you like to eat. You're the one that has to put in the work. So it's a personal challenge. It's about you, what you want to get out of it. And what I wanted to get out of the 100 days of making comics is, just get my butt into gear and start making comics and also making YouTube videos, because that was something I was wanting to do for a while. So I kind of killed two birds with one stone type of thing. And anyway, if I can get my train of thought back, I ran into some trouble, as I was doing the challenge, because it's like if people are supposed to hold you accountable by uploading YouTube videos and you don't have an audience, which I didn't have an audience, then it kind of defeats the purpose. See, Kevin Cross already had an audience to hold him accountable when he wouldn't draw his monkey something other character, right? And I don't mean to be an ass when I say that, because I can't remember what the character's called. I keep wanting to say Monkey Bone, but anyway, where was that? Oh yeah. So a personal challenge. It's a personal challenge, and that's the way I took it. If people view my videos or not, great. If not, But I tried to build an audience to make it to where I could be held accountable. And also, if you're uploading to YouTube, the whole point is to be seen, to be heard, And the narcissist in me loves that. Can't even see what I'm drawing here. What the crap? I hate it when I do that. I get lost in my train of thought, and I always just kind of, get all over the place. And my bad. So when I was having trouble with the YouTube videos, which I've been trying to say for like 100 years now, and I'm getting lost in my thoughts and not explaining myself, when I was having those troubles with the challenge, even though I think I did draw every single day for 30 minutes. I believe I did for the challenge. So, but there was like maybe five videos. I'm not for sure. There might have been like 5 videos, maybe less than that I did not do because it was getting in the way of me drawing. And I'm not for sure. I can't remember. I'd have to go research it, whatever. But my view is, a lot of people, when that happens, when they don't upload a video that day or whatever, they quit the challenge. And I think that is, for lack of a better word, that's dumb. Don't do that. Don't do that. There is no 100s police. Nobody, people may give you a comment or whatever, where you been or what you doing or whatever. But at the end of the day, nobody's going to stop you from doing the challenge your way. They can't. And nobody has the energy to do that, assuming anybody wants to take the challenge, the personal challenge. My view on it was like the comics was more important than anything. So that's what I was going to focus on, and I was going to keep doing the challenge. I was going to get my 100 days in. I think what ended up happening is I was like 20 days over, to get all 100 videos made or something like that. So I was like 20 days extra working on the challenge. And that's okay because, that's the way I done it. And it's not official. It's not, maybe some people say it's not legit or whatever, but I almost got a comic book completed, out of that, and that was the genesis of the Wildcat comic book, which I've had Wildcat forever, but it was the start of me actually working on the comic, Um, and so that's the thing, that I would say to anybody, for all my YouTube drawing friends, which is not directed at anybody, just in general, because I think it's an interesting topic. What you're doing, the making comics, in my opinion, is the most important. To get that stuff done, because for me, the more I draw, the better I get, and I'm way behind the curve, so I need to draw a lot. But that's my own personal goal, and everybody has to define for themselves what is the most important, and what do they want to achieve, what do they want to get out of it. And I think that's something, that's a question I think that people that do the 100s need to ask themselves. What is your goal? What do you want to achieve with this? And I think once you do that, you'll get better results, but if you just kind of go in blindly to try to figure out what you're going to do, like most college kids, and no offense to any college kid who don't know what they want to major in, and that's okay. But at the end of the day, though, if you kind of know if you got an idea where you want to go in life, you're going to be more successful, because you're going to divert a lot of your time and resources in the acclimation and the pursuit into achieving that goal, so there will be very little time wasted. But at the end of the day, whether somebody knows what they want to achieve with the 100 Days of Comics or not, and you don't know where you want to go, for anyone listening that's thinking about doing the challenge, I say you have to dive in head first. You just got to go do it, and then, figure it out, regardless, even though I said something kind of hypocritical about it's best to kind of have an idea what you want to do. But if you have no idea what you want to do, doing something is better than nothing. And that is the most important thing. You can always figure stuff out later, but you have to do stuff first. Okay, time to answer questions. So Dave writes, Dave Hingley, hey CB, when you design a new character, do you bother with model sheets? I used to love making them when I was younger. These days, just a few pages of the character and lots of poses. Let's see. Let me sip my water before I answer this. Well, typically, what I end up doing when I designing a new character, probably like 8 times out of 10, which I'm changing this method, and I'll get into that in a second, but 8 times out of 10, what I usually do is I just sit down and I just start drawing, I start sketching, I'll get out like what I'm doing, like what I'm doing right here, I just, I get the circle in, and then I start getting the fine details, and then I just play around, a lot of what I do with some characters when I'm making them is I don't necessarily try to think like Jack Kirby, but for some of the characters I design, I like how Jack Kirby, what he would do is he would use a lot of shapes, because he drew gods, he drew immortals and people that's been around for a while, aliens and stuff. And so what is something that would be common across cultures from other dimensions and other worlds and stuff and beyond would be shapes, circles, squares, triangles, pentagons, wavy lines, straight lines. And so I try to incorporate that a little bit in my design work. I'm making it sound like I do something more than what I actually do. Maybe design work ain't the right word. It's more like, I just kind of put that on the page, and then hopefully if I just kind of spread it around and then thin it out and stuff, it actually, I can deceive people into thinking that I made something cool. But anyway, I can't think. Let me get my train of thought here. Okay, so designing characters, I kind of just go with it. I have a rough idea in my head, kind of what I want to do. And then other times, what I do is basically I do the opposite. If I don't have a rough idea of what I want to do, I just go with it, and I narrow it down to something that looks cool. I know at work, when I had some free time, I sat there and I sketched a character out. I was wanting to create this interdimensional character that would be in the Wildcat book sometime in the future. I don't know when or where, but and as I was sketching it, it wasn't coming out the way I wanted. So what I did was I just got another piece of paper, and then I started again using some of the designs that I liked on the first one, and then I carried it over to the second one. So typically, I do. I just draw it. Now, having said that, though, I have been using model sheets. I can't remember where I got the idea. It may have been, what is his name? Scott Circlin. May have got the idea from him. Or it could have been from me using Google Images and seeing what am I seeing here? Seeing the classic Marvel character sheets, for like their Marvel books, from back in the day, like in the 80s or 70s, where it'd be like 120 page book or something. I don't know how many pages it was, but it had a bunch of pages. It had like a lot of the characters in it. It would start from like A to D, or something like that. Characters names that started with A to D. I don't know. Whatever. You get the idea. And then it would show like a front pose, a side pose, and a back pose, so you get an idea of what they look like, and from all angles. And also inspiration came from, which I'm making it sound like I created character sheets or something. Why not? Why not? I'll take credit for it. Maybe I can get royalties. But regardless, okay, freaking anime and manga, okay? I got some inspiration from that, seeing a lot of anime, manga, character sheets and stuff like that. And it's like I really admire the work. They don't just draw the bodies, they do like several faces. Also inspired by Disney. Oh man, the Disney animators, they do really good character sheets. I mean, like they don't just do like multiple types, of the body and different movements and stuff to kind of get the feel for the character, but they also do like 10, 15 faces showing different expressions and stuff like that. They get that all worked out beforehand, and I just think that's really cool. So that's pretty much where I got the idea from. So what I ended up doing is I took a Marvel character sheet thing, whatever, model sheet, and I just drew it freehand, and then I photocopied it like 100 times. And so I actually have in somewhere in my house a big stack that I did last year of characters that I created using the model sheet. I shared these model sheets before, the characters that I created on a live stream, but I ended up deleting or privating the live stream because it had technical issues in it. I don't know, there's some deal with that, so only one person saw it. The rest of you, it's a mystery. What do those characters look like? So that's pretty much what I do. I do both. I use character sheets, but most of the time I just kind of freeball it. Now, I'm trying to be more professional with drawing, with creating characters, because what ends up happening is if you don't design your characters beforehand, if you ain't got it all figured out beforehand, and then you start to draw comic book pages and you're making characters up on the fly, it shows. It's unprofessional, and I'm not directing at anybody other than myself, because you need to know what these characters look like in 3 dimensions, and I don't know. I don't know. It's just not a good idea. It's a better idea to have this stuff worked out beforehand. So, and also, if you ever have people work on your characters, it'd be handy for them to have some character model sheets so that they know what the crap you're drawing. What the crap to draw or color or write, whatever. My train of thought is all over the place here. Geo. Zoom out. Let's look at the mayhem that I've created here. You know who this guy looks like? Remember, I can't remember his name. I don't know if it's Jack Vance or Jack something. I think he was in City Slickers. City Slickers. He's like he's the guy that said, the meaning of life. The meaning of life. He used his twin brother used to say it was one thing, but it's 2 things, or something like it. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've seen the movie. He's like whatever the F this is in gold. So that's pretty cool. That guy also played a lot of villains, and he played Skeletor in He-Man and Masters of the Universe. He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, whatever that movie is called, which I did like that movie. But I think I was a little bummed when I watched that movie where freaking it took place in New York, It's still a good movie. It really is, but I just wished it actually took place more in Eternia than in New York. Josh Fox writes, is it Fox? Fox writes Jack Palance, Jack Palance. Jack Palance. Thank you, sir. Dave says, I have a character in a new script. She is in 2 panels. I've done a full body drawing for her, but it seems overkill to do a full model sheet. 2 panels. Well, I think you might be giving a statement more than a question. I don't know. I have to think on it, but I'll go ahead and pretend it's a question. I don't mean to sound like a butt when I say that. I'm just kind of thinking out loud. I always think out loud, and it gets me in trouble. But I don't know, man. I think it's a. Well, of course, it is up to you. Just get my pencil ready. But I think that personally, it's always best to kind of have stuff figured out before you go into it. And here's something else that I didn't mention before, but it's like when I was working on Wildcat in the early going, right? Wildcat since the 90s has had a certain look, And when I started working on the Wildcat comic, really getting real serious and stuff like that, it's like I changed his look. Not super drastically, but, I gave him a rock arm. I gave him pointy ears. I changed his clothes that he wore. And so it really changed things up. And let me zoom in here so you can actually see what I'm doing. It really changed things up in a big way. And the thing is, the more I draw Wildcat, the more better I get at drawing him. The more comfortable I am with him. And also, the more I draw Wildcat, the more the fine details I add to the character. Like the buttons and the lines on his jacket and all this other crap, And the same with the fox. The more I draw her, the more of those details that I can get out, and the better I get at drawing her. the idea behind the fox, I don't know if people know this, is she's supposed to be kind of a tomboy type character. And, I want her to have I don't know if a squirrely face is the right thing, but, kind of stretched out lips and stuff like that. But I also get torn, because I guess the expression is sex sells or whatever, and so make, prettying her up and all this other stuff. And so I get torn on what to do, but I'm trying. I'm just determined to get the squirrely look out like how I wanted. But anyway, my point is to answer your original question. Let me pull it down here. I have a character in a new script. She's in 2 panels. I've done a full body drawing for her, but it seems overkill to do full model sheet. The reason I would recommend doing a full body sheet, even though I don't do it myself because I'm a hypocrite, and I need to start doing that, is you need to get more familiar with drawing your character, and you need to kind of find their soul, their spirit, or whatever, to get all hippy dippy on you. I recommend, which I'm sure you've probably seen them, looking at on like Pinterest or something like that, Disney model character sheets, and they just draw like, basically, let me pull it up here. They draw like, a lot of heads like this, but the difference is they're way more expressive, where this is nothing but stoicism, being stoic or whatever. And they'll have like surprised, angry, happy, sad, and stuff like that. And why that's important, and also they'll draw multiple poses. And why that's important is like when you're working on your book or whatever, you're not going in blind. So you kind of got an idea how your character moves and how they express themselves. And it's going to give you a lot more confidence when you're working on your comic instead of like, trying to figure it out on the go. And then sometimes you get kind of mixed results with that. And so for my personal self, I'm going to try to do more character sheets and character drawings and stuff like that. I need to work on that. That's my own personal goal. But now, if anybody else doesn't do that, that's okay. Because really, one size does not fit all. Everybody's different. Everybody has their own way of doing stuff, And at the end of the day, it's about what gets you results. You know what I mean? It's what works. What works for you, what gets the job done, Okay, Jeremy Burtz writes, "Hey, CB, listening on the road. Awesome." I really appreciate that. That's pretty cool. Lucifer Storm in the house. Hey, everyone, how's it going? It's going good, which I guess it's presumptuous if if I'm answering for everybody and tell them saying that they're doing good too, which, somebody might be doing bad. Gosh, I wish I'm always unintentionally insulting, and I don't mean to be. Look over me. Okay, so Dave writes, no, he didn't. That was Frank Langella. Parlance was villain on Hawk the Slayer. Hawk the Slayer. Come on, focus, camera. Where are we at? There we go. Sometimes if you tap it, magic happens. There's what it's kind of looking like, sketching out. Didn't have much of a clue what to draw, so you can't go wrong with some more cat in your life. More wildcat, that is. I tell you this, okay, another interesting thing. I didn't even got to the dinosaurs yet. One of the benefits to working, going back to work, is suck. Monotony. dreary, drudgery work. One of the great things about that is it breeds creativity because your brain has to escape the doldrums of what you're having to do for a living. And so it's helping me figure out a few things that I've been kind of hung up on the Wildcat story. And so I've started stripping away unnecessary elements because, I packed some stuff in there that, that was hurting the story. Because it was making things a lot more complicated, and I don't want to overwhelm the readers with stuff, which they're going to be overwhelmed anyway, but hopefully with awesomeness. But that's not how I meant it, though. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of stuff in it anyways, and so I need to, streamline it down and really figure out what kind of story I'm wanting to tell in the mood that I'm trying to set. And focus on that, and making sure that everything ties together really neatly. And that's one of the benefits of going slow and steady with things. I have time to really think these things out, because it's Wildcat's an important character, He's my character. I've had him forever. And I want to show what makes him different, what makes him interesting, and why I care about this character, First impressions are important. It's hard to kind of get back people's trust, people's attention when you have a bad first impression. It really is. And I'm the king. Okay, I am the king of bad first impressions. I really am. Because I always end up, goofing it with people. Goofing it. I don't know, botching it. I botch things socially when I don't intend to, and the thing is, the way humans are wired, for our own safety, for our own mental and physical safety, I think on a subconscious level, people, after a first impression goes wrong, they avoid that person, or they kind of distance that person, or they build up a mental wall against that person from going any further with that person, because that first impression went wrong, and that might, that first impression may not represent who that person is or whatever, but because of that, that's, I think it's like some weird danger defense thing, that goes beyond logic. Anyway, why that matters to Wildcat is, I guess what I'm trying to say is that first impressions sometimes on comics is a big thing. And I don't want to dissuade anyone that's watching this, that's making comics or anything like that, from putting your stuff out there or anything like that, being too worried about first impressions, because that's the wrong message. That's the wrong thing to send, because at the end of the day, most important thing is to do something. Don't sit and daydream. Just do something and then figure it out later on. But for me, I am trying to make sure that I knock it out of the ballpark the best I can from the get-go, because I want to make a career out of it. That's my own personal goal, See. I always like to draw his ears kind of pointing out, because really his ears are like, I don't know, something like that. But his sideburn hair is so big that it obscures his ears, And it's really cool, It's just a really cheap way not to keep from drawing the ears, And I think it would be a distraction if everybody looked at his Vulcan ears, Let's see. What else we got here? Okay. So I guess the next topic that I want to talk about that I found interesting, that I found fascinating, is dinosaurs. Love dinosaurs. Well, I love a lot of things about science and history and archaeology and it don't matter, cryptozoology, you name it. But in this case, we're talking about, come on, camera, what are you doing? Focus. There we go. People has to be able to see what I'm doing here. There is a debate about T-Rex. Now, for those of you who don't know, a lot of scientists, archaeologists, or whatever, what the heck, a lot of people that play around with dinosaur bones, they come to the conclusion that that a lot of the velociraptor looking, which I don't think it's a real dinosaur, but there are dinosaurs like that though. I can't remember what they're called. Velociraptor looking, a lot of the T-Rex looking dinosaurs, not the sauropods, not the ones that they had the long necks and walked around like a big elephant with a long neck, or the ankylosaur or triceratops or anything like that, But the rest of them, though, they said they had, they say they have feathers, and it's really interesting. I'm not really disputing that. I have no problem with that. That's pretty cool. It's interesting. And which they're kind of dialing that back with T-Rex, which isn't the point of what I was talking about, but I'm going to throw that little nugget in, For the past 4 or 5, 6 years, they've been saying that T-Rex had feathers, and now they're starting to say, like, no, actually, he might not have had feathers because there's evidence here on Modern Times of large animals losing the need for fur, like I guess like rhinos and elephants and stuff like that, where they have like, just big bare gray skin. And these large mammals, they lose that hair adaptation, and they just they're just bald all over. And so they're like thinking, well, that would apply that I guess to T-Rex too, because I can't remember. There's actually a scientific reason for that made a total lot of sense. So now actually they're going back to the old school models of what T-Rex used to look like. But now here's something new. Here's the new nugget that I want to give you guys. All right, because yeah. I was going to make a joke, but I botched it. I can't remember. I couldn't remember stuff. But anyway, the new T-Rex news, the new dinosaur news, is the theory that Tyrannosaurus Rex was a sexy beast. Tyrannosaurus Rex had lips. Oh yes. Oh yes. And I'm going to be honest with you. I believe it. I believe T-Rex had him a full set of lips. A lot of the modern depictions of T-Rex always has him with a big toothy grin. But the classical depictions of T-Rex actually had him more like with a lizard-like mouth. Now, lizards, I don't know. This is going to be a really... What the crap is that noise? That's never good. But we'll say this is a dinosaur for sake of the argument, right? Well, no. We'll say this is a lizard. How about that? This is a lizard. There's his eyeball. And lizard kind of has something like this going on. Right? So they got lips. And so they're thinking that T-Rex had something like this. And why would T-Rex have lips? What is the purpose? Well, animals have to drink water, lipless animals are able to drink water. But if you look at a crocodile or alligator, they don't have lips. But they spend a lot of their time in the water. So I guess they don't really need them. You know what I mean? So the purpose of lips, I guess, I have to really, really research it and make sure I'm not talking out of my butt, is to hold liquids in, to hold water in, whatever. Now, some people argue that, T-Rex could have just went to a lake, pond, river, whatever, and just, dumped his head in and then gulped it back. You ever seen like, I guess like seagulls, whatever, when they're, I don't know, when they're eating like an animal and they just throw their necks back, that maybe like that's how T-Rex drunk water or whatever, so you wouldn't need lips for that. But I kind of believe it. I kind of believe that T-Rex had him a full set there. um, but but it's fascinating, the idea of it, because it changes how T-Rex look. And also, if you think about it, whenever I saw at the I guess it was the Field Museum in Chicago, I think that's what it's called. Not a lot of people know this, but the skull, that freaking T-Rex skull, the skeleton that they have on display, it's not legit. That skull that they have is not a real T-Rex skull. That somebody made that. It's fake. And you can actually see in a display case, once you go upstairs, it's like, on a display case on the ground, you can look at it. The actual T-Rex skull, they got one sitting right there, and it looks like a big giant alligator head in a way, without all the deformities where the teeth hang out and stuff. Or it looks like a little bit like a dog head. Maybe, hell, I'm confusing the hell out of you when I say it like that. You just have to see it to believe it. But anyway, I forgot the point I was trying to make. Something about lips. But I just kind of picture, like, you ever seen a dog, like, you don't see a dog's teeth when he's got his mouth closed, and then, if you make him mad, or why would somebody make a dog mad? Let's just say the dog just don't like you, and he starts to snarl, and that snarl comes back, and you start to see his teeth. Can you imagine T-Rex doing that? Oh, that'd be frightening. That'd be frightening indeed. A lot of people are basing, a lot of people base whether T-Rex has lips or not off of modern birds, their beaks and stuff, and also off crocodiles and alligators. But they don't look at other animals, like, because it's not a related species, like rhinos and stuff like that, But it's important to know what the functional lips are, and I need to research that, honestly, What's the base idea anyway? Ah, crap, guys. You can't even see what I'm doing. I'm like drawing like a mother trucker. Dave writes, hey, CB, you got a link to the article? I know a lot of people would be interested to talk about this. Unfortunately, I don't. That's how ill prepared I am. But you can. It's on YouTube. That's where I got. That's where I found out about it. Just type in T-Rex lips or Tyrannosaurus Rex lips or whatever, and that's where I got the information. And it's way better articulated and laid out. And at the end of the video, and also I really enjoyed reading the comments. I like to read comments about these things, because every once in a while you get somebody that's basically a professor who comments, who blows the video away with their analysis. And so there's some really great comments that I recommend you check out, that are really in that video. So Tyrannosaurus Rex lips video, it's on YouTube, and check that out. It's pretty cool. And I just think it's fascinating. It's just interesting. It really changes, how we render T-Rex. We go back and forth between whether he has feathers or not, whether he has lips or not, and will we ever have the answers? I like to think we will. We never know what we'll dig up. We'll never know. There might be, I don't know how possible a fossil in the ocean might be, but there might be somewhere in the ocean buried under like gazillion pounds of mud and dirt, a good well-preserved T-Rex, where you can actually see its scales and its feathers or lack of feathers, you know? Let's see. Lucifer Storm writes, I hate to do this, but I gotta shoot. I shall catch the replay later. Keep up the good work, CV. All right. Thank you, good sir. I'm glad you was here to check it out. I've been meaning to do these videos sometime around 3 a.m. when I usually do them, but my work schedule has me getting up at like 8 in the morning, Oh my God. Morning time. Morning time. So I just kind of decided, I'm just going to do these videos whenever I can. And I can still get away with calling it sketching past midnight because I'm global, baby. YouTube makes me global. So no matter where you're at, more than likely it might be dark outside. So that's the wonderful thing about that. Okay. I really want to get down my, what do you call him? My Sound Key Spaghetti. I love the way he draws torn fabric and stuff like that. It's just really cool. And I think at the end of the day, he just goes for it, and I think that's why it works. He doesn't sit there and try to figure out how he's drawing his spaghetti. I like to put in these little Stephen Platt holes in the clothing, to add extra whatever. I also like the way Marc Silvestri draws his clothes, with the torns, the rips, the folds. Really cool. Let's see. Now, let me fix this jacket. I got it buttoned up here for some reason, and we don't need to have that. Been studying some Gary Frank here lately, too. A lot of his work on Incredible Hulk, he was one of the guys that took over after Dale Keown left. Dale Keown. Is it Keown or Keown? Oh, and before I get into the Gary Frank thing, when I was talking about the benefits of character drawing models and character sheets and drawing multiple versions of your character, it helps you to get to know them. And one example of this, I don't know if this is the best example, but there for a while when I would draw Wildcat, I would just draw the indentation of his t-shirt and then I wouldn't shade it in. But now I've gotten to where I just kind of black it all out. And I think it just looks really interesting to me. And that's just one of these happy things that you kind of figure out as you go. When I think about Mike Mignola, when he first started drawing Hellboy, his character was a lot bulkier. He used to be bulky when he first started out. But over the years, he slimmed him down. He got rid of his shoulders and stuff like that. He made him a interesting, kind of pitiful, but not pitiful looking character, And it worked out, It's become the iconic, Hellboy look compared to where he started, Dave writes, I got to shoot off. Thanks for the great show and your insight on the model Sheeta. Pronouncing it like I'm Japanese. Sheeta. All right. That's cool, Dave. I'll catch you later, man. Thanks for tuning in. Everybody's leaving me. Them damn dinosaurs. My show was doing great till them dinosaurs messed it up. It's always the dinosaurs. I will never take personal responsibility. your all's fault, or the dinosaurs. That's why they went extinct. I know not a lot of people know that, but in some parallel time dimension warping universe scenario, the dinosaurs had the audacity to distract my audience and to not win their approval, and my audience went away. And so, by thinking about it, just picturing in my mind ancient times, pre-ancient, prehistoric. Let's see the comet coming in now. 2 comets, maybe 3. Chapoom, 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 hitting the earth. That's what you get, dinosaurs, for screwing up my show. I had a nice audience just checking my stuff out, but now they're gone. Just like the dinosaurs. I don't know if you know this or not, but I'm a fan of The Ultimate Warrior. And so I like that real deep stream of consciousness. I don't fight it. It doesn't matter if it makes sense or not. As long as you enjoy it. That's the thing. I enjoy it. Let's see here. I don't know what the purpose of me doing this Wildcat sketch. It just felt like drawing it, sketching it. Maybe I'll ink it a little bit. This gel pen is not ideal for inking. I mean, you can use it for certain inking jobs, but this thing is, it really slops it down. And so you have to be careful about smudging and the like. You zoom in. Okay, topic number 4 or 5. For anyone watching, Salazar Art Nation has a new show. It's called the I can't remember what it's called. I think it's called the Not the Ardcast Show. And he is a kicking butt. He had like 60 views on that bad boy. Him and his co-host Frank is dominating. He's doing really good. I thought that was pretty cool. I like that. So for anyone watching who's not aware, which I assume everybody is, check that out. It's pretty cool. Yeah, that's Wildcat art's looking a lot better after starting inking it here. The magic of inking. Gel pen is so far, it pleases me. That sounded naughty. Didn't mean for it to, but it is. I'll tell you this, for those of you that are still watching, or who are watching the replay, Wildcat, I had an idea for Wildcat that I'm going to put in. Sometimes Wildcat gets in these rages where he kind of loses it or whatever. And so what I was going to do is like his eyes turn all black, the pupil, the iris, whatever, all the white stuff in the eye turns black. Just the whole thing just turns black. I thought that was a cool visual, and it's a good visual cue to let people know that he's been pushed too far. My only problem with it is, and I always have problems. Nothing's never simple. This is a robot eye, So what I was thinking is, the way I would draw it is maybe I would show his robot eye in like this black liquid going over the robot eye, and that's how I would, justify it. So yeah, Yeah. So that's another cool thing. It fits in with his black claws, his black fingernails that he has. Do, 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 do. I'll ask this. I have a question that I was wanting to ask everybody. Gosh, I wished I asked it earlier, but hopefully somebody in the replay, when they watch this, they can answer this for me. And maybe the next time I do another live show, I'll ask it at the beginning of the show instead of like the tail end. But I'm having a dilemma. Okay, you just want to help me with my dilemma? I'm having a problem. Okay, here's my problem. I have a comic book company that hasn't published anything yet. I have a YouTube channel, and I'm building a brand, And so, remember when I was talking earlier in one of my earlier videos, for those of you that may keep up, I was talking about Dan Fraga. Dan Fraga, he had his YouTube channel called, what was it called? Couch Doodles, and he has his comic book company, Incredible Comics. And then he has his Fraga Boom brand. And my problem with that is he's got like so many different things shooting in several different directions, and it's like it's not cohesive. I'm a big believer in synergy in branding. Now, what is synergy? It's like basically different elements coming together to create one thing, to work together to create this one thing. That's kind of like a loose layman's definition, probably not the right word. So, to me, I think now, because of something that happened to Dan Fraga's previous channel, he now calls his channel Fraga Boom. He calls his shows Fraga Boom, every so often. And I think he should call his comic book company Fraga Boom. I think he should, everything should be Fraga Boom. It just works out great that way, in my opinion. So, my thing is not to be a hypocrite. I need to take my own advice. And so, something I've been torn about for a while, so the name of my channel is, I think the name of my channel is CB Smallwood. The name of my comic book company is New Empire. Or you can call it New Empire Comics, but I just use New Empire. It's very flexible like that, I think the comic book is implied, when you see a comic book and it has the word New Empire, it's like, you can figure it out. It's a comic book. It's a comic book company. But, gosh, what was I thinking here? Anyway, if I get my train of thought back, not get so lost. So CB Smallwood, the name of the YouTube channel, I think. Comic book company is called New Empire Comics. In my most popular video series, other than Sketching Past Midnight, is Mental Junk Food. And, those videos get hundreds and thousands of views, the Mental Junk Food videos. I'm not saying that they're like a great success. My Mental Junk Food videos in terms of comics, pop culture, sci-fi, and horror are on the bottom tier of like everybody else's videos. And that's not to put them down. That's just to, give a factual analysis. But the thing is that I'm trying to get to is I need to figure out, do I need to have Mental Junk Food Comics and Mental Junk Food channel? Or does it need to be New Empire YouTube channel and New Empire Comics? You see what I'm saying? Because I think the more synergy there is with everything, it helps in Not to sound like an expert because I'm not, but it helps with like SEO, whatever you call it, optimization, just search engine results so people can find your stuff. It helps with your branding, because everybody knows, who you are and what you're about and stuff. It's just a good thing. It's a good thing. So, for anyone watching replay or watching now, I'd appreciate some insight on that. What you think I should do? What should I call my YouTube channel? How about that? We make it simple. What should I call my comic book company? It's something I'll be pondering when I'm at work today, to kind of... Can't see what I'm doing here. Shucks. Probably should zoom out. It's coming together pretty good, I think. I like that. All right. So, Josh writes, I think you're right. The brand optimization can be beneficial. Yeah, I think absolutely. It needs to all be sort of the same thing. It doesn't mean that I can't have different stuff in the future. It doesn't mean that I can't still make mental junk food videos or anything like that. But as far as like branding, my YouTube channel, I feel like needs to be called the same thing as my comic book company. I already got a website up for New Empire Comics, and that's that's thanks to the mighty Robert Johnston, creator of The Reverend and many other books. You can go check out his website called Zero Comics, which is COMIX. It's with an IX, zerocomics.com. But thanks to him, I got New Empire Comic website up and running. Lots of stuff on there. Not nothing super spectacular yet, slowly but surely building content. The more I draw, the more stuff I put out, more content that will be available. But the point is, my website, YouTube channel, my comic book company, I think they all need to be called the same thing. And I guess my only reluctance is, when I'm doing, kind of like play-by-play, what's happening in the comic book industry and other news and stuff like that. I feel like, maybe is that like a conflict somehow, by calling my comic book company the same thing? I don't know. It's a little confusing. I'm overthinking it a little bit, but it's something that I need to figure out, and I will figure it out. I'll get it together. I've been putting it off, but I think it's getting time now to really get that stuff figured out. I got lots of things I actually need to figure out, job wise, comic book wise. As far as like the Wildcat first issue, first trade, first story arc. Get that fleshed out. I'm just all over the place. All right. I think it's time to end the show, folks. I appreciate everybody tuning in, watching it, listening, participating. And thank you to everybody that will watch the replay. Really, really appreciate it. I don't know when I'll do another video. That sounds very ominous, like it's not going to happen. But I will try to do another video as soon as I can, because my schedule's all over the place right now. And so, whenever I can upload a video, that's when it will happen. So it'll be every couple of days, or it might be, every day in a row. Who knows? And answering a quick question, Josh writes, have you considered doing a web comic and then putting them as a collection to a graphic novel that you can publish once you further develop your following? You hit the nail right on the head. That's something that I've been thinking about, and that's something that I'm definitely leaning toward. I feel like this is a really interesting topic. When I did the Wildcat Indiegogo campaign and it failed, it didn't fail because people didn't like my art, which there were some people that didn't like my art. It failed because nobody knew. Nobody knew, because I did a survey and I asked people. Nobody knew that my Indiegogo campaign was up, and also a lot of people had already spent a lot of their money on other campaigns, so they were strapped for cash. But mostly, a lot of people didn't know my campaign was up, and also there was something else. Another reason why I think people needed to see more, because it was an unknown character, unknown creator. People needed to see more to get them invested in backing the Indiegogo campaign and stuff. And I feel like doing a webcomic would basically take care of a lot of that. So my train of thought right now is I may end up doing that. Doing a webcomic of Wildcat that's, obviously free, where people can go and read the first issue, first whatever, I don't know, or more, and just build an audience that way. And that was another problem. I didn't have an audience for Wildcat because nobody knows who the heck Wildcat is or who the heck the guy is that created him, and why would they, right? And so by doing, as you suggested, Josh, by doing a webcomic, it's a great way to build your brand and get your name out there and stuff like that, and give people a taste of what they can expect. There's a guy, you see, and this is not a theory either. This is not this isn't like something that's up in the air. This is a proven model of success. There's been a lot of people who's done web comics that's translated into Kickstarters and Indiegogos. And so I think Jason Brubaker, Jason something in there like that. I can't remember what his name is. He's on YouTube, very successful. Good. He's a successful YouTuber. He's a successful blogger, a successful comic book artist. And he did a webcomic. He did a blog first, and that's where he got a lot of his attention. But then he did a webcomic, and that garnered a lot of fans and stuff like that. And then he did his Kickstarter, Indiegogo. It's a Kickstarter. And it was like one of the biggest comic book Kickstarters of all time. I mean, that might not be true anymore, because there's been a lot of campaigns in the last couple of years that's been astronomical. But he was like one of the first, one of the earliest, and one of the biggest. And what I'm thinking is, when I do the, if and when, I think I will, do a Wildcat webcomic, be a good way to build an audience. My only thing is, will people read it? A lot of the webcomic platforms, like Webtoons and stuff, Tapas, it's basically manga. It's a lot of gay manga. For whatever reason, I don't know what the deal is with that. A lot of gay manga, a lot of regular manga, a lot of romance manga, a lot of everything manga, except for like sci-fi action, And there's very, very few Western style comics. So, I guess in one way, my comic book would stand out, but like, would that audience, welcome, Wildcat? I mean, like, somebody sitting around there really enjoying their gay manga. Are they going to get all gay for Wildcat? I don't know. I would hope. I kind of doubt it, but I don't know until I try. You know what I'm saying? I really don't. And I think the thing to do is the best way to approach it is try to bring in some of those manga fans over to Wildcat. And I think what I would do is I would take the webtoon comic or the Tapas comic of Wildcat, and then I would put it on like Twitter and maybe Facebook and Parler, which Parler is just like this big echo chamber of conservatism, and nothing against conservatism. I'm a very conservative guy, but but it's an echo chamber over at Parler. You know, they're not big enough yet. They're getting there. But so it's, I don't know. I'm trashing them pretty hard. I guess the thing I'm trying to say is like not hitting a wide enough audience. Seems like with Parler, you know, and everybody just wants to talk about politics and damn, there's a lot more to talk about in life and politics. I know there's a lot of important stuff that's going on right now, and it's really important to be informed. It's very important to be proactive in the things that you need to be proactive in. But there's other stuff in life too. Everybody seems to forget that. Everybody wants to kill each other. It's like, cool your jets, okay? There used to be a wonderful thing in America called agree to disagree. When things would get so heated, we would agree to disagree so we could still be friends. Well, I just want to remind America, you can remind Americans. You can still agree to disagree so that way we can still remain Americans. Anyway, that's a rant. So what I'm thinking is webtoons or tapas, whatever. Try to get a manga audience, and then also share that comic on social media platforms to bring some of those people over to check it out as well. And we'll see how it goes, you know. But first, I have to figure out the stupid first issue, get a few writing points out and stuff, and get that really cooking. And I think once I'm done with the first issue thing, that might be what I do, you know. Nothing's set in stone. My mind's always in this weird state of flux, you know. It's just constantly. I mean, if somebody was in my head, they'd be swimming and drowning because it's just how wild and turbulent it is. So with that said, I think it's time to end the show, and I just want to thank everybody for tuning in, checking everything out. Watching me play with my pen and the pen lid. I think that's been very visually stimulating for everyone. You come to watch a show called Sketching Past Midnight. Instead, you just watch a guy fumble around with a pen for like 10 minutes. So this is the dangers of getting me talking about topics. I kind of lose train of focus, train of thought. I'm trying to lose focus, train of thought. I don't know, whatever. But a big quick shout out to all my royal, faithful and true crew for being with me from the beginning, and for all those new people that hopped on the train, thank you for being here. And anything I can do to help any of you guys out, you just got to let me know. And then I'll draw your characters, I'll plug your websites, I'll plug your social medias. You just let me know. You get up with me. And also, what else I got to say? Please remember to hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Subscribe so you can be kept up to date all of my latest shenanigans. And as I queue up here, as always, thanks for everything. I read each and every single comments, even though I don't reply like I should. I'll work on that. I keep saying that, but I eventually will. And I'll see you all in the next video.